I'm sure you recognize this guy if you're into crypto. This is Gary Gensler. He's the chair of the SEC in the United States. He and his organization are playing a critical role in making sure that innovative companies, innovation related to blockchain and cryptocurrencies are having a really hard time in the United States. And you know what? The result is that a lot of these companies are getting out of the United States. Very, very recently, we heard that Bitrex, a huge exchange, is closing out their US arm just because of the SEC and Gary Gensler going after them. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you some of the countries that these companies are fleeing to and why some of these countries are going to benefit from the innovation of cryptocurrencies while the United States loses out. Not only companies, individuals, whales, people who are really, really wealthy are taking their money and leaving the shores of the United States and fleeing to these countries. The first one I'm going to talk about, of course, is El Salvador. Now, I'm not saying that people are moving to El Salvador. I'm saying that companies that are dealing with cryptocurrencies are moving to El Salvador. Why? Because El Salvador is one of the countries that has recognized Bitcoin as a legal tender. In fact, it's one of the two nations that has legalized Bitcoin as legal tender. You can go in and you can spend Bitcoin for your day-to-day activities in this country. The other country, which is not actually on this list, surprisingly, is the Central African Republic. And I can understand why. It's not in the Western Hemisphere and doesn't relate that much with the United States and has a pretty low GDP. And also, most people have never heard of this country. It's bang in the middle of Africa, right next to Chad and the Congo. The second country, of course, is Portugal. That is in Western Europe. Portugal has been a leading country when it comes to cryptocurrency and the blockchain. The country itself has invested a lot of money in blockchain infrastructure, in the healthcare sector, the banking sector, etc. And because a lot of the cryptocurrency people have flocked to Portugal, mainly because of their favorable tax policies. As you can see here, since then, Bitcoiners and crypto enthusiasts have flocked to the region, attracted by a crypto environment offering the chance to use BTC in real life to pay bills. So similar to El Salvador. So even companies in Europe have migrated to Bitcoin. They've attracted investment. The next one is Singapore. Now, Singapore is always ahead when it comes to technology, innovation. If Singapore is a leading country in blockchain adoption, with the government investing heavily. The government investing heavily in research and development, and this is due to favorable regulations, right? So even the fact that the regulations exist in the first place, companies have clarity, so they're able to adhere to whatever the rules are and march forward. So Singapore is a destination for a lot of these companies that are fleeing the United States. The next one is Malta. Now, this comes as no surprise. I remember in the early days of cryptocurrencies, a lot of these conferences used to happen in Malta. In fact, Malta used to be referred to back then as the blockchain island. As it says here, along with Singapore, Malta started promoting blockchain adoption since the early 2017s, and when it gained a reputation as the blockchain island. And as I said, when it gained the reputation as a blockchain island after drafting some industry regulations to speed the growth of blockchain technology. See, the government of Malta has played an active role in accelerating blockchain on the island and attracting investment and development in the whole cryptocurrency and blockchain sector. Of course, we have the United Arab Emirates. That again comes as no surprise. That's where Dubai is, for instance. And the UAE is always known as a kind of tax haven, technology haven. They want to attract the young, innovative, the very, very wealthy. You know, the UAE was reported to be building blockchain-based fully electric city. So they're very progressive, very forward moving. They're not held back by some of the draconian old red tape like the United States and some parts of Europe. Now, those are the top 5 countries. Now, these are some of the other countries that are not on the top 5, but also worth mentioning. Of course, you have the United States at the moment. The United States, of course, has the most innovation going on in the blockchain industry, in the crypto industry. But again, our Gary Gensler and the SEC are doing their best to make sure that the United States drops from the first position. We have Switzerland, which is no surprise. They've always known to try and attract wealth, and they want to be the blockchain or crypto hub of Europe. And they're working at it. Not part of the EU, but European Union, for instance, has come up with clearer regulations for the companies to follow. Not necessarily favorable, but at least clear and way more tenable than what is in the United States. But at least companies can move forward. And of course, we have South Korea. Again, South Korea and Japan together here are well known for technological advancement, especially South Korea. In blockchain and cryptocurrency, they've become a significant player in Asia. South Korea or we just call them Korea on the blockchain, are very, very well known. They have a fair share of crypto exchanges over there in South Korea that we use. A lot of the coins, old coins that are not listed in the West are actually listed in South Korea. And then we have Nigeria. Nigeria should get a lot more credit than it does. On any blockchain, they have the most active users, especially because the population of Nigeria is very, very young and very, very savvy, and very, very progressive. And Nigerian youth are among the most prolific, especially when it comes to NFTs, social tokens, creating content about crypto. And a lot of crypto innovation is starting to come out of Nigeria that I think are going to be absolutely huge, as shown by Google Trend, that the adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrency experienced a clear uptrend in Nigeria, especially after 2022 crypto market crisis, when the country emerged as one of the most crypto curious nations. It also appears amongst the top countries with a high global crypto adoption index, according to the report by crypto data analysis company Chainalysis. So Chainalysis has put Nigeria as one of the highest places when it comes to crypto engagement. Another thing, of course, is Nigeria has a CBDC. It's one of the first countries in the world to implement a blockchain-based CBDCs. It wasn't very successful because, of course, the Nigerian youth, being crypto enthusiasts and very, very savvy crypto users themselves, aren't a big fan of government-controlled money. So that was a bit of a flop, to be expected, and it's a kind of outlier and an example to what's coming to the West. So shout out to the Nigerian youth, and I'll see you in the next video.